It is Wednesday, August 24, 2016. Welcome to today's edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, new pumps and pump stations for several East Coast Demerara villages. Government insists that Guyanese will play a major role in the emerging oil and gas industry, and locally manufactured products are now available at more shopping outlets. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan, and here now are the details. Residents of the East Coast of Demerara will soon benefit from the construction of 3 new pump stations and the installation of new pumps at Buxton Vigilance, Enmore, Hope and Lusignan. Details in this report.
Additionally, works will be done to improve the northern dam of the East Demerara Water Conservancy infrastructure, deemed critical to the Guyana Water Incorporated water harvesting.
That work essentially involves the raising of the dams to, and making those dams safer. That will also involve the procurement of a number of excavators, pontoons, and so on.
The more than $850 million project, a component of the East Demerara Water Conservancy Adaptation Program, will be administered by the International Development Bank. Chief Executive Officer Acting of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Frederick Flats, explains.
Those works are being executed under the Flood Risk Management Program, which is funded by the Government of Guyana and the International Development Association.
Bids for the execution of the works are being evaluated, and contractors are expected to be awarded shortly. CEO Acting Frederick Flats explains the scope of the works.
The pump stations will be about 9 months, and the earthworks in the East Demerara Water Conservancy are supposed to take about 30 months.
The project coordinator is Danishwar James of the Agriculture Sector Development Unit. The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority is the agency tasked with the management of the country's drainage and irrigation system, while the International Development Bank is a World Bank agency. For the Government News Brief, Sinika Thorne reporting.
The government is determined to ensure Guyanese play a major role in the emerging oil and gas sector. Find out how in this report.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says Guyanese are capable and with the requisite training will become experts in advancing the development of the industry.
And we have to look not to foreigners but to our own children who will become the new engineers, the petroleum engineers who can manage the petroleum industry, manage the gas, the oil, our natural resources. We have a big country, but we still have many of our best minds, our more educated citizens are out of Guyana. So we have to either try to bring them back or train a new generation of our children so that they can take over and not only run our industries, but they will also have to run our government.
The Prime Minister was at the time speaking to youths of La Penitence, Georgetown. Training Guyanese is critical to the operations of this industry. Discussions were since held with officials of the University of the West Indies for the establishment of a faculty of petroleum at the University of Guyana.
We are trying to know that we can be prepared to deal with not only the new wealth, but the new status in the world, that Guyana is an oil and gas producing country. And so we have to prepare the minds of the Guyanese people to deal with this new reality.
Guyana is being proactive with this emerging sector, and the government is ensuring that all mechanisms necessary for the effective management and best outcomes for its people are in place. Government has already received a pledge for funding from the United States government to build capacity in the oil and gas sector under the Energy Governance and Capacity Initiative. Shanti Goberdan with this Government News Brief.
Locally manufactured products are now available at more shopping outlets countrywide as part of the new Guyana Marketing Corporation's partnership with local proprietors. Details in this report.
7 shopping outlets countrywide have over the past 2 years opened their doors to local producers. They are G&P Jacobin and Son in Region 2, El Bulkan and Son in Region 3, R. Prashad Gas Station and Mart, Skyline Supermarket and Guyana Marriott Hotel in Region 4, and Spready's Supermarket and Rambridge Gas Station and Supermarket in Region 6. The supermarkets, gas stations, mini-marts and one hotel is part of a partnership with the Guyana Marketing Corporation through the Guyana Shop to promote the consumption of local-made value-added products. The arrangement with the outlets follows two models. General Manager, New Guyana Marketing Corporation, Ida Seeley Adams, explains.
One is an entire corner or portion of the shop is allocated. We call it the Guyana Shop Corner. With that arrangement, the Guyana Marketing Corporation supplies the respective supermarket with the commodities that the supermarkets they request. In other words, they would give us from time to time the quantities and the types of commodities that they want us to supply them.
The second model is for smaller shopping outlets with limited shelf spaces. Celia Adams explains that the organization is using this model in collaboration with the Marriott Hotel.
The second model for those supermarkets that do not have the space, or for instance the hotel that we have our collaboration with, we supply them with a gondola and also the local products, and it is sold at the respective location, but we are the supplier.
The arrangement is that the outlets give the New Guyana Marketing Corporation the space free of cost. Shanti Gobodan with this Government News Brief.
Relocation of the Walter Roth Museum of Anthropology is on hold to facilitate consultation with stakeholders. Delicia Haynes reports.
No decision will be made on the relocation of the Walter Roth Museum of Anthropology until consultations have been had with museum staff and stakeholders, says Minister of Education Dr. Rupert Roopnarine. The question of the museum's relocation was among those that the Education Minister addressed while engaging the indigenous leaders and Tushaus this morning at the National Tushaus Council meeting at the Ortachung International Convention Center.
What I have done is that I have asked the President to put the question of the movement of the Walter Roth Museum on hold. Until I've had an opportunity to discuss the matter more thoroughly with the people, the anthropologists, the Tushaus, and so on.
The Ministry of Presidency had recently announced a decision to relocate the Walter Roth Museum to the Guyana National Museum and to use the museum's current Main Street location for a department of the Ministry of Presidency. During this morning's engagement at the NTC, Maruvanau Village Tushau of Region 9, Patrick Gomes, had decried the government's decision to move the museum on the grounds that the artifacts contained in the museum are those founded some several hundred years ago that may not be able to survive relocation.
Artifacts that was founded 700 years ago, 8,000 years ago, and so on. In removing them, relocation will cause lostage, may even enhance stealing, destruction of those things. So I'm asking here at this forum to all the Tushaus, if we can make a recommendation as recommending to the government of Guyana that Walter Roth Museum should remain where it is, because we do not want to lose our heritage and our connection to the past.
The Walter Roth Museum of Anthropology, which contains a wealth of historic information and artifacts about the Amerindian people, is aimed at keeping the legacy of Guyana's first people alive. The museum was founded in 1974. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
20 communities welcome initiatives targeting empowerment of young people towards reducing crime and violence in their communities. Tiffany Rodius tells us more.
4,000 youths and adolescents are expected to benefit from the 4-year Community Crime and Violence Prevention Program. The Community Crime and Violence Prevention Program is the first component of the Citizens Security Strengthening Program of the Ministry of Public Security. Rosignol is identified as an at-risk community under the program. Community Representative Drels Mamor welcomes the opportunity for young people in her community to have another chance at education and gainful employment.
Some of the children, the youth cannot participate because they are not qualified. They are not educated. Some of them don't even know the basic. So I feel that we should go back to the stage of remedial teaching for some of the youths in the Brunswick North constituency.
The aim of the Community Crime and Violence Prevention component is to reduce contributing factors of crime while strengthening protective factors. A huge part of the project will focus on empowering young people through technical and vocational training to develop entrepreneurial skills in their communities. Albion is another identified at-risk community. Resident Azat Sugrim believes that young people in his community are in need of formal training to be strong entrepreneurs.
Because with the entrepreneurial component that is embodied into the program, quite a lot of young people are going to venture out into their own little business and start their own career.
The Crime and Violence Prevention component of the Citizen Security Strengthening Program plans to provide counseling and parental training to community members to enable them to definitively cope with violence. Yvonne Ingrid Ferguson of La Penitence says the program will be a great help, particularly to teen parents.
With this program, it will benefit the teenagers a great lot because there are a lot of limers, there are lots of parents who neglect some of their children in the area, and this program will impact a great knowledge on the youths.
The Crime and Violence Prevention Program identified communities based on statistics of prevalence of crimes such as robberies, murder, and domestic violence. The percentage of youths in level of education in these communities were also taken into consideration. The Crime and Violence Prevention component seeks to improve behavior for non-violent conflict resolution in the target communities with the aim of reducing crime and violence. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
Those are the reports we covered in today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. To be updated as the news unfolds, subscribe to our website and YouTube channel, and do follow us on Facebook. All government and other information can be accessed from GINA's website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another edition of this, the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching.